Hi Aquarius, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. My name's Carol and this will be your January 2024 reading. I hope you had a chance to see my December 2023 reading, which was my first reading ever for you because this is a brand new channel. So I hope some of you have come back to see your reading for January. What I want to do in this reading is to clear up some things that, you're bringing into 2024 with you. Whether it's a pattern, an emotion you're sitting with. I just want to get a sense of your energy. And then I want to look at what's coming up in your shadow for you that's related to this pattern or this issue, this situation that needs to be cleared up. And I want to get some guidance from the tarot. And I'll also leave you again with some guidance from me. So I have another channel called Carol Cares. And on that channel, it deals with a lot of mental health videos, grounding, emotional journaling, different emotions to work through. And so I'll recommend a video at the end for you. And I will also pull an oracle card from my animal spirit deck. Just to kind of get an overview of where you're sitting. So let's begin with the Light Seers Tarot, and I want to ask for just a couple cards in each section here. So let's start off with your energy, what you're sitting with, what I'm seeing. Just a couple cards, please. Just a couple cards for Aquarius, just to see where they're sitting right now. See what cards need to fly out of this deck. I like when they fly out of the deck, and I just want one or two of them. They don't always fly out when I want them to. Here we go. Okay, so we have, this one came up first. So the Ace of Swords and the Seven of Wands for the energy that you're sitting in right now. What's in your shadow that's related to this? What's in your shadow that's coming up that's related to these two cards? What's in the shadow? Okay, we got one card here. And we have the Ten of Wands in reverse. And how about some guidance from the tarot? One or two cards, please. Guidance from the tarot. All right, we have the Moon card in reverse. The Moon card in reverse. All right, so I'm going to look at these cards right here. It's like there's something in my eye. Okay, so what are you sitting with right now? The Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords. Now, any ace for me is a gift or an offer from the universe. And in this particular case, look at this woman. It almost looks like this is her brain here. And there's this bright light, almost like this revelation coming out of her head. And the swords, because this is an Ace of Swords, is all about authenticity. It's all about getting to the truth of who you are. And so it's almost like there is a offer from the universe that says, are you ready? Do you want this offer? Do you want this gift from the universe saying to find out who you really are? Like, I mean, I know that's a big question and there's so much to that, but we really don't know who we really are because we're all stuck in our ego. We're stuck in our conscious mind. And in order to figure out who we really are, we need to get into our bodies, get in touch with our shadow, get in touch with the unconscious and everything that we've buried in there, because that's really the most powerful part of us that really drives all our behaviors and our emotions and, drives everything we do. And so this card is saying, are you willing to find out the truth about yourself and who you really are? And it's an offer, And when the universe gives us an offer, probably need to take it. Because the next card that comes up is the Seven of Wands. And the number 7 is about this self-awareness, self-introspection, going inwards, and really becoming aware of ourselves. And the 7 of Wands is a creative suit. Wands is the spiritual body. Wands talks about our authenticity, what we came here to be, what our mission is. So if you look at this particular individual, she's sitting on this cushion and almost, very comfortable with herself, almost in a meditative state, and just being herself and being who she wants to be. And if you notice, she's very much alone, and you have all these wands at the bottom that are pointing up to her. And what I found with this journey and with the shadow work journey, the 7 of Wands card is a card that tells us that, this journey is one that, number one, it's a journey that you take alone. And number 2, it can be very lonely because you're going to have people that are going to point all those wands at you and look and not really be able to support you or validate you in what you want to do with yourself. So this card right here is saying, here's this offer for you from the universe to really go out on your own and find out what it is you want to do, who you really are. And then this card comes in right behind it and says, well, maybe there's some people that aren't going to support me. Maybe I won't be validated. Maybe I'm not supposed to do that. Maybe that's just, no, that wouldn't go over too well. Might be some jealous people here. And that's what happens when you decide to, start to heal, go out on your own, try to figure out who you are, start to ground yourself, do some journaling, really start to heal deeply. There are times when people, for different reasons, can't support you. And so it does become a very lonely journey sometimes. So we'll get some more clarification on that. And in the 10 of Wands in reverse for you, it's coming up for your shadow. So what's coming up in your shadow now? In this particular instance, like the 10 is the completion of a cycle here. So it's interesting because you got the 7 here and now you're getting the 10. So it's almost like in your shadow, the 10 of Wands, if you look at it, she's walking away. She's packed all her bags. It's time to go. Like she realizes that, I want to go out on my own. I want to do what I want to do. And I'm going to take me and I'm gone. And this is in reverse. So I see that there is a resistance for you to go take that step, go out on your own to try to figure out who you are. And whether that means for you physically you're going somewhere on your own, or you're just going inwards and starting to really figure out like who you are and what makes you tick and why you are the way you are. But there's some resistance here to do it, and that's what's in your shadow. And we're going to find out why there is a resistance to doing this. And the Moon card comes up in reverse for the guidance from the tarot. And the Moon card is, the moon represents our, like what's hidden, represents our intuition, the unconscious. And the Moon card, when that comes up, it means that you are becoming more comfortable with listening to your intuition. And your intuition is that internal guidance system that we have. And when we sit, we get still, we start to feel, we go inwards, we do grounding, we do journaling, and you get in touch with that inner guidance system that you have inside, which is your intuition. And you start to make some of your decisions from your intuition rather than your ego. And they're very quiet nudges that we get in life to do something. And those are intuitive nudges. And so this is an individual that's become very, very comfortable, not very, but just start to be in touch with, you know, signs that are coming from the universe, and recognizing that, you know, things are happening and it's not a coincidence, and just getting some kind of in touch with that intuitive side that we have that's been hidden. And it is a feminine aspect of ourselves that has been hidden. But that is in reverse for you. And so I'm seeing that there may be a call for you to, as the tarot is saying, is now to start to go inwards and get in touch with your own inner guidance, because it is asking you at the beginning here to find out who you are. And when you start to find out who you are, you're going to see that everything that you've been told about yourself, it's usually not true. So, and we've adopted it and inherited it and really believe that it is. So, there's this beautiful flock of starlings that just, I'm looking out the window here, I wish I could see it, but it's amazing. It's just, I love them. They come and they just go, and they're all flying by my window for you. So I take things and I see them, and I, you know, we're just talking about finding you, and almost like this freedom to just go out and be you, you know. So this is what I'm getting from your reading, which is beautiful. You know, it's a beautiful feeling. All right, let's clarify everything now with my tarot, my Rider-Waite, and clarify. All right, so let's clarify what's coming up with, you know, this Ace of Swords and the Seven of Wands in your present energy. Let's have some clarifications for these two cards for the present energy of Aquarius. The Empress in reverse. And Judgment card. And the Ace of Cups in reverse. And let's have clarification for the Ten of Wands, please, in what's coming up with the shadow. What's coming up in the shadow? We have the Three of Cups. Okay, more cards, please. A couple more, maybe. I have the Five of Wands and the World card come up for you. And more cards for the Moon, please. Here's one that wanted to fly out. Six of Wands. And the Knight of Swords in reverse. And the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And I think that's good. I think we'll be able, I don't know. I'm hearing one more card here. Let me see if I can get one more card for the Moon. I wanted to stop at the Queen, but let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, Queen of Wands in reverse. Wow, two queens. It's interesting. Okay. All right. So, offer from the universe. You know, you might not be supported. Whatever you want to do, there's something that's saying you're going out, wanting to find yourself here. This is the present situation that you're thinking. Maybe it's a new year and you're thinking you want to do this. So, the birds are still there, by the way, for you. They're out. No, they're just going to fly away again. Okay, so the Empress is the first card we have for you. And the Empress card came in reverse for you. And the Empress card is the Major Arcana. It's the third card in the Major Arcana. And the Empress card for me is a feminine part of us. We all have the feminine aspect and we all have the masculine aspect. It doesn't matter what gender you are, that's what we have. And for most of us, and it's no surprise that it came in reverse for you, the feminine aspect has been repressed for a very long time. Most of us go by our ego, and I call that the masculine part of us. And, you know, it's always this go, go, go. Don't really... there's a real drive there. There's not a lot of intuitive thought that comes to our decisions. And this card is the feminine aspect of us. And she in particular, because you have the High Priestess and you also have the Empress, and the tarot has split them both into two, has split the feminine part into two. High Priestess is our intuition. The Empress is all about creativity, authenticity, and emotions, that side of us, right? That kind of the motherly side of us. And so she is very much the part that wants us to be authentic, wants us to get still and go inwards and start to feel our emotions, to find out who we are. And that's what's come up for you. And the next card is the Judgment card. And you know, the reason why but your Empress is blocked, which means you're not probably realizing that there is this other creative aspect of you that is wanting to be birthed, and that wants to come out. Because the Judgment card comes out whenever there's this, if you look at this card closely, there's these people that are being reborn, right? And you don't really see the face of the small child here, because when this child was younger, probably was told that, you know, they don't have this creative side to them, or they're not allowed to do certain things, or, and so when Judgment card comes out, it's a judgment that comes out. These birds right here are amazing. I wish you could see them. They're mesmerizing. These starlings, these flocks of them. So the Judgment card comes out when there's this call from within to do something, a call from within to, like a nudge from the universe. It's like a call that's saying there's something here that wants to birth itself from you. But the Ace of Cups comes in, and the Ace again is, you had the Ace of Swords, you know, about your authenticity, and the Ace of Cups comes in reverse, and it's an offer too. Like there's an offer here, 2 offers from the universe here, brand new start, that says, you know, do you want to go deeper? Are you willing to get in touch with your intuition? Are you willing to find out what it is about you that wants to be, you know, come alive in you? And there's a resistance to that. There's a resistance to feeling. There's a resistance to going, you know, a little bit deeper here, and to start to feel. Because when you start to feel, when you really get in touch with your emotions a lot more, and then that's when you can get in touch with your intuition and your authenticity and all those beautiful gifts that we have. And so the 10 of Wands came in reverse, and we talked about that. That was for your shadow, and how there's a part of you that, you know, wants to walk away, is for some reason, because that is in reverse. So there's a resistance to taking your life in a new direction. And you know, there's this 3 of Cups that comes out, a celebration for you. It's a feminine side, a feminine celebration here, which is a feminine side of creativity, because number 3 is this creativity. So in your shadow, you have this creative side to you. You have gifts in your shadow, and people don't realize that there are gifts in your shadow, as well as a lot of other emotions and sometimes trauma that we need to deal with. But there are hidden gifts in there for you once you start to, you know, find yourself and ground yourself and do a lot of journaling, and you get to celebrate who you are, who the real person is, right? Because there is this beam of light coming in. And that's the light of the revelation. So there's something here that wants to be revealed. And I'm seeing it coming in your shadow. But I think what's happening is, I'm seeing this is what's coming up in your shadow. You have a conflict card, which is number 5, first of all. And it's number 5 in Wands. So Wands for me is when you get caught up in your ego and you start comparing yourself to other people. And so this is kind of the card that says, you know, there is this something that wants to be birthed in you. There is this project, maybe. There's something that you want to do, finding out more about yourself, who you are. But, you know, there's a tendency here that you compare yourself to other people. And so sometimes when we do this, especially when we get on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and we really start to compare ourselves to other people, and we can really feel less than when we're done scrolling. I mean, that's how I feel when I get on there. And but you know, but your shadow is wanting you to celebrate who you are, and because there's lots to celebrate. There's, you know, the world card says to me, there's so much success, happiness. There's so much in this card. So it depends a lot of times on where it ends up in the tarot. But to me, it's saying like there's so much in there for you that wants to be birthed, that wants to get out and be creative, that wants to be you. But it's in your shadow right now, and it's just sitting there waiting to go, right? And so we need to look at the tarot, and we need to go to the guidance of the tarot right now to figure out, well, okay, so it's sitting in there, like, okay, so what do you want me to do about this? What am I supposed to do about it? Because it's you're unaware of this, because this is your shadow. We're not aware that we have this in our shadow, that we have beautiful gifts, as well as all the other stuff that we need to work on. I didn't know that until I was told that. I'm like, when I was on my journey, still am, on my own healing journey, a very intensive healing journey. And, I so many times I would say, like, why am I doing this? Why am I healing? Why do I want to heal? What's the purpose of healing? You know, who wants to feel their feelings? And it was because, you know, my therapist kept saying that there's gifts in there. There's gifts in you. And so my tarot reading is one of my gifts. And I was a teacher for 30 years. And the last thing that, if you told me I was going to be a tarot reader, I'm like, I really didn't know much about tarot reading. And, well, it did get me in trouble. I did learn later on in life what it was. But I put a video out, by the way, on this channel if you want to know how I became a tarot reader. But it was not something that I thought I would do. And this was one of my gifts that have come out, is that I'm meant to be a tarot reader. And I'm like, okay. And it's taken me a while to get here. I had to go through a lot of shadow work to get to this point. So the universe wants to bring you, Aquarius, to a point where you're more comfortable with your intuition and following your inner guidance, and where you recognize more how the universe is on your side and supporting you. It often gives us little signs that, you can call them coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidence. Just little signs along the way that will help us on our journey. And the first card that comes out for you for some advice to get it, in touch with, get more comfortable with following your intuition, is the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands is a victory card. And sixes have a duality aspect to them. So duality in that you have like black and white, or receiving and giving, and winning and losing. So this individual looks like he's coming back from a battle, and he has all his followers with her. With him, he has the wreath up here, the victory wreath. And it seems like he's won, like he's won this battle. But it's a six. So there's what people don't see is there's something hidden under here, this green blanket. It's a big green blanket. It's an odd shaped blanket. I mean, it's not just laid over the horse. It seems to be laid over something. So there's something hidden under there. And this is a duality card. So this says, he's won a battle, but he's also lost something. There's a real loss here that it's coming up here for you. And the tarot wants to say you need to look at what you've lost. Because, this whole reading starts off with you wanting to get to know yourself and find out who you really are. There's something in your shadow that wants to come out, something creative, something, and you want to take your life in a new direction. There's a resistance to doing that. And so there's this whole thing of, well, maybe we need to get in touch with what you lost. Like, if you're not really sure who you are, and you're sort of been going by all these belief systems that what people told you could do or you couldn't do, So there's a loss in there, right? There's some grieving that needs to take place. And sometimes there's anger. You need to get angry at the world, angry at the people that told you couldn't do certain things. And and grieve the loss there. And this Knight of Swords is coming in, fast and furious, and he's in reverse. But look how fast he's coming in. I mean, my knights represent my freedom fighters. They are the adolescent part of us that wants to be free, And I am a retired teacher, so I taught adolescents all my life. And one thing I knew about adolescents is, they wanted to be free. They wanted no one to control them, and they wanted to be themselves. And this Knight is coming in for you. This is the Knight with the sword. That's the sword of authenticity. That's the sword of cutting through all the bullshit that people have told you all your life, and to find out who the heck you are. And he's in reverse right here. So because he's repressed, this is this adolescent part of you that wants to be free, wants to be authentic. And when this Knight comes out, when you repress this Knight, he's angry. He's angry because he wants to be free. He wants to be himself. And so, I talked about grief here, but let me tell you something about grief backed up with anger. When you have grief buried in your shadow, it usually comes through as, sometimes, not always, but it can, as some anger, some very ungrounded anger that you spew out on other people. Because anger is a secondary emotion. Because a lot of people don't want to grieve. People don't want to feel this. And so what they do is they'll cover this up with their anger first. And so maybe there's I'm sensing here that the tarot is saying to you that you have had a loss here of some sort. You need to grieve, but you've got some ferocious anger, some ungrounded anger that's coming through here. So I'm wondering that, you need to get in touch with this anger that's coming through right here, because we need to deal with the anger first, and then that'll bring up the feeling of shame, or grief could bring up shame, but also the grief that needs to come up with it. Because you have two queens that have come up in right behind to end everything in your advice here from the tarot. So the first queen that's come up, and queen is the feminine aspect of ourself, okay? The feminine aspect of ourself. That means, our intuition, our creativity, our authenticity, and it means stillness and getting into the body, because the queen loves the body, loves you to get into the body, out of your head, grounding into your body, because that's where our emotions are. And the Queen of Pentacles is very much, if you wanted to find the queen that was the head of the body and getting in touch with grounding ourselves, is the one that's very, very grounded. And she's the one that knows that you need to get still and need to find time to get still in order to start to ground and to feel. And she is in reverse. She's repressed, right? So that means we need to really, there's a need here. There's a call there for you to get into your body and to start grounding. And the Queen of Wands says, she talks about our passion and our purpose and our creativity. And once you start grounding, and she's in reverse as well, so she's repressed too. So once you start grounding, once you start turning this queen upright and start grounding, taking some time for yourself to get still and start to get in touch with your purpose and who you are and your authenticity. And, what it is that wants to come out, what it is you want to do next. And it's all here for you, but it's just telling you that I think I want to leave you with a video on your anger, and that is going to tell you, you know, how to ground from your anger and get in touch with that anger, because sometimes we don't realize we have buried anger. I had a hard time getting in touch with my anger. But if you have queens that are in reverse and a Knight of Swords that's in reverse, it tells me that when a queen is reversed, she too can become very hopeless and depressed, and she can also be angry. And because the Knight's here, very angry, the fiery Knight here, that's telling me that definitely that we're going to work on some anger I'm feeling coming up from you this month. Okay, so let's see what the Oracle card comes out for you. And this could be, you know, this is repressed anger. This is anger that you don't even know maybe you have, or you have a hard time getting in touch with it. And remember, there's grief buried behind there. Grief, shame, other emotions get buried behind anger. Just want one card, please. One card for this aura. Here we go. He flipped the Wolf Spirit. Turn knowledge into wisdom. Turn knowledge into wisdom. So turn what you know. If you know how to go inwards, if you know how to ground yourself, if you know how to journal, if you know how to get in touch with your intuition, that's your wisdom. And you know, the High Priestess, she's not in here today, but she's all about wisdom. She's very much about wisdom. Your wisdom is going to come from your knowledge of going inwards, and that's where you're going to get your wisdom, your intuition, your own inner guidance for you to be able to take that step and go in the new direction. So this is what I have for you this month. I hope it resonated with you, and take care of yourself, and I'll see you next month. Bye-bye, Aquarius.